priest will be the high priest in spite that he is not from the lineage of Aaron. So, the philosophy of compromise is dance with the music. Hot music, dance. Sweet music, dance. Dance with the music. Go with the flow. Rightness or wrongness is not the issue. It is not whether it is right or wrong. That is not the issue. The issue is whether it makes good. Whether it makes good. The result is more important than the means. Compromiser. Some Adventists tell them that there are situations that you are invited in a feast or salo-salo, and then when you look at the food, there's nothing for you to eat except the pancit with chicken but decorated with shrimps. And the compromiser will just remove the shrimps and eat the pancit with chicken. That is the compromiser. The Pharisees. Who were the Pharisees? They're the separate ones. The holy people separated from the world. They're the purest, the pure Adventist, so to speak. One time, a member of ours asked me, Pastor, correct me if I am wrong. What is that? Every time I go to the milling shop to mill my corn, I don't sell my chaff. What is the chaff in Tagalog? Kapal. Sapal. I don't sell. I said, why? Once I sell the sapal, they will feed the pigs. And I am participant of that. Really? You know, there are some kind of people like that. There's some people like that. In my district, one member came to me and said, Pastor, you read the writings of Ellen White and correct me if I'm wrong. It says, regarding coffee, touch not, taste not. Taste not means you don't have to drink. Touch not means you don't have to touch. That's why, Pastor, every time I go to my farm, I have to walk far because I don't want to touch the leaves of the coffee trees. The purest. Okay? And rigidly following the laws, the letter of the law. That's why the Pharisees developed 1,521 rules how to keep the Sabbath. And one of the rules is that when you go to the synagogue, the things that they will be bringing to the synagogue must be put in the balance to weigh, because any excess must be taken away. It's just like going to the airport. There is excess baggage, forget it. You cannot bring it. So they have to weigh. Church hymnal, that's too heavy, okay. Bible too heavy. What can we bring? Signs of the times. You see, they are very strict on Sabbath keeping. Scheduled public prayer. Schedule. If a Pharisee is a motorcycle or tricycle driver, and while he's running his tricycle, and time for prayer comes, he has to stop at the side of the road. The passenger said, hey, Mr. Driver, this is not my destination yet. And the Pharisee said, I know, this is not your destination, but we have to stop because this is my time of my prayer. Lord, thank you that I am not like this passenger who is adulterous, who is a thief, but Lord, thank you that I am holy than others. That's a Pharisee. Rigid in typing. And what is the solution of the oppression? The solution is indifference. We are different. You are different. let's not deal with each other. They have an ordinance of the Pharisee that when they walk, they should avoid to look at the face of a Samaritan. Because once their eyes are focused on the Samaritan, their soul become unclean. And when the Pharisees go to fast food, they will look for a table where there is away from the aisle. Because if your table is along the aisle, so every now and then the customers are passing, what if the Samaritan passed by? Then the shadow of the Samaritan had made your food unclean. That is the purest indifference. And this group started to come up in the 2nd century before Christ. They originated as Hasidim and later on as Pharisee during the time of John Hyrcanus, the high priest. They're very overzealous that the law of God must be the law of barangay, the law of the purok, and the law of the town, and the law of the whole Philippines. They want to implement that. By the way, there are different kinds of Pharisees. One is shoulder Pharisee. What does it mean? Every time you do good deeds, as if you are a pathfinder, there is merit or badge that you put onto your shoulder. You help your neighbors, there is a badge for helping neighbors. Put that on your shoulder. Okay? That is the shoulder Pharisee. When you are God-fearing, you belong to that group because among themselves, they are subdivided. And there is God-loving Pharisee. These are the ones who are very sympathetic to the ministry of Jesus Christ. To put it in a capsule, the teaching of the Pharisee is making the religion a wall instead that it is a bridge. As I listened to the talk of my good friend, Pastor Flor, he was saying that he attended on some meetings with other pastors of denomination. That is bridging, not putting a wall. You know, there are some members of our church who ask me, Pastor, is it right for us, you know, these people in the big church, every feast time, they come to us and solicit money because it is for the basketball. I said, okay, what's the problem when it is for the basketball? But you know, it's honor for Mama Mary. We don't want to give because it is for their patron. Yes, there are some people. A group of Adventists who fled to the mountain have this doctrine. They will never get connected with electricity. No matter how the company of electricity came to the place, because it was a big community. And the leader said, no, we don't want to be connected. And then the leader was asked by a pastor, why you don't want to be connected with electricity? Pastor, the electricity funding comes from the World Bank. And the World Bank is being financed by Vatican. Once we are connected to the wiring, we are connected from the Vatican. Boy, my dear. The purist. Huh? Another group is the Essenists. They live in villages and avoiding cities. No commerce, no navigation. They don't fight. This is different now. They don't fight. It's a communal living and no private ownership. They are where the scripture copies. And their solution is isolation. Ito ang mga sabadistang mga matampuhin mga kapatid. Yeah. They don't talk. You just don't know that there is a relationship problem. They don't talk. Okay? Isolation. It is a Jewish religious brotherhood in communal basis. The group existed 2nd century BC and 2nd century AD. The group was mentioned in the Bible, but some writers, scholars, had lengthily written all about the Essenes. The fundamental teaching is love to God, love of virtue, love of one's human, and then the Essenes were subdivided. For those who are modest, they dress themselves in a modest attire. They belong to the Chinyon group of Essenes. And for those who are silent in the church, in the committee, they don't talk, they belong to the so-called Hasasaim. And I would like to tell you, few ladies were accepted in this group. Few ladies were accepted this. Most of them are men. Because for those who are silent, they belong to that group. And the leaders, the administrators, the leaders of the church belong to the Hasidim Harishanim, the ancient saints or elders. The pure mind, always thinking of heavenly things, they belong to Nihad Da'ath. And men of exactitude, yes or no, that's it. No less and no more. Exactitude, they belong to that group. The important feature of this group is that it's a communal living. No private ownership. And they were prohibited in swearing except to swear an oath to the group. They have to renounce material things. 3 years of own provision before you'll be accepted as a member. Kaya nga, as I listen to my good friend Pastor Flor, huwag ninyong pahihirapan ang kaligtasan ng tao. You know, in Mindanao, there are some people like that in our church. Don't baptize that guy. We have to observe. Let him come to the church for a year because we're going to assess the book of the treasurer if that guy has already regularly given the tithes and offerings. Don't accept yet. And I don't know whether it is here, that you can hardly solemnize wedding of a newly converted Adventist. No. He is only after of flesh, not of salvation. So there must be 6 months or 1 year before he will be solemnized in the church. 3 years of own provision. And you know what? They have a doctrine that one baptism is only admittance to the group. The second, third, fourth succeedingly is to make you holy. One baptism is not enough of our sin. So, if we have this kind of people, the pastor cannot visit other place because they keep on baptizing people because the more that you are baptized, then you become holy. But one good thing is that they are Bible copyists. Okay? They have done their work between 134 BC and AD 70. In AD 70, when Jerusalem was attacked, the Essenes fled to the village of Qumran to escape the Roman legion. They have preserved the manuscript of the Bible, especially constructed vessels and hidden in a pre-selected caves. Mind you, without the Essenes, we don't have complete Bible files. Because some writings were just found, another chapter, another book, but the Essenes, it's intact from Genesis to Revelation. So, in 1947, this manuscript put in a jar were discovered. The Old Testament, and then 2,000-year-old manuscript were found in the so-called Dead Sea Scroll because it is close to the sea. And it was preserved inside the cave, the Qumran cave That is how the Bible was preserved. 2,000 years after, then it was discovered. It is known as Dead Sea Scroll. Now let's go to the Zealots. The Zealots. Who are the Zealots? The nationalists. They resorted to violence and assassination. They hate foreigners. These are the group of people that want to solve the problem of oppression by the Roman people through fighting and revolution. That is their concept. We can solve this problem of slavery by fighting, by revolutionizing. These are the fanatical, resistant group against the Roman Empire. They emerged very distinct political group, and there was uprising of revolution among them against the Roman Empire, because they said to accept the authority of pagan emperor would mean repudiating the authority of God and submitting to slavery. If we submit to the Roman Empire, then we are submitting to the Gentile group. Yes, they were the assassins. They were the group. And so to speak today, maybe they're close to the NPAs in the Philippines. They want to solve by fighting. And you know what? This kind of people, the Zealots, has only one solution, any kind of problem, to fight. To fight. And they fled to Masada, which is close to Dead Sea, where in the sea you'll be floating there even if you don't know how to swim. You have to take this cable car. Some of you were there, but I would like to emphasize something along this line. This is the beautiful place of Masada. Fortified palaces were built by King Herod. It's well fortified. The size is 1,300 feet above the shore of Dead Sea, 1,950 and by 650 feet is the size of the Masada. It is like a mountain, an island. And the Masada means fortress. When the Zealots were defeated in Jerusalem, they took this Masada from the hands of the Roman government and became the last fortress there. Yes, in AD 70 they were there. 1,000 men and women and children, they were there. And the Roman soldiers tried to attack the Masada for 2 years. And they have a negotiation with their leader. The leader of the group was Eleazar ben Zair. And the general of the Roman soldiers negotiated and said, Eleazar, this is a war that you'll never win. Because we are 5,000, including the slaves, and you are only 1,000, but listen to the answer of a Zealots. He said, General Salva, even if you killed us, save one Jew who can still hold the sword, revolution will continue. You know, I am describing this so that at least it will reflect your mind what kind of people you have in your church. And who are we in the ministry? Okay. So, it was only defeated when a causeway was built by the Roman army. The causeway is made of soil brought by the slave, the Jewish slave. They cannot kill the slaves because they were Jews. But when the Roman soldiers will climb up, they will just be killed because there are many ways of killing them. But the slaves, the Jewish slaves, they could not kill. So, little amount of soil with a small basket. 2 years of bringing the soil there until the bridge was constructed. And then it was attacked. And when it was attacked, what happened? There was a grandma who hid on this cistern of water with her two grandchildren, and so was the one who told what happened. This is what happened. Eleazar bin Zair said, we are about to be killed by the Gentiles. But to be killed by the Gentiles is a shame of our Jewish heritage. So what we are going to do, every husband or father must kill their own family. And if somehow among us, there is a father who cannot afford to kill his own family, we have 7 verdugos to go around and kill your families. And these verdugos will now kill with each other so that nobody will be killed by the Gentile hands. And he said, let us put the fresh fruits and food so that when they come, the Roman soldiers will come, they will never think that you committed suicide because of hunger. Put all the fruits on the table to prove it is not the hunger that prompted us to commit suicide. It is our stand that it is a shame for a Jew to be killed by a Gentile. So all of them died. All of them died. But until now, archaeologists, historians, and scientists cannot solve the problem. Where did they get water to put this cistern? Where? And where did they get food when they were surrounded by the Roman soldiers? Where did they get food? They cannot solve that problem. That is the Zelotes. When we went up there, the stone balls are there. Huh? Ito ang bullet ng big, what is this, slingshot. Or they will roll this down if the Roman soldiers are climbing. Okay? So these are the bullets there. Now, let's go to the answer of Jesus. Multitude of beatitudes. God's answer. Sadducees, your solution is compromise. Pharisees, your solution is indifference. Essenes, your solution is isolation. Zealots, your solution is to fight. My answer is, Essenes, listen. Luke 11:33. No man lighted a candle and put it in a secret place, neither under a bushel. I don't know in Luzon, but it happened in Mindanao. But some people from Luzon were converted by that movement so-called wilderness. They went to my district before, up there in the mountain, away from the mountain. They secluded themselves. And when I interviewed some members, why you are here? You know, Pastor, it's nice here. We are far from the devil. I said, anong klaseng devil yan? Na hindi na kayo makikita pag nagtago kayo sa bundok. He must be the dullest Satan in the world. That you just hide in the mountain and Satan will say, where is that Adventist? I would like to tell you, the mind of the devil is more than GPS. See? They had a communal place there, just like the Essenes. God said, if we are Adventist, you're the light. If you're the light, you must be in the darkness, because light without darkness is useless. Huh? You know, the problem is, if the Adventists will commune together, they cannot preach anywhere. So they will just be preaching themselves. Mastering the church manual, mastering about the doctrine, infighting. That's the problem of the isolationist. Okay. Sadducee, your solution is compromise. God said, Amos 3:3, can two walk together except they be agreed? You compromise except You agreed? Yes. The Sadducees are only after of the solution, the result. They're not after whether it is moral or ethical. Let me cite a very good example. Here is a man who is poor. His son was admitted to the hospital and needs blood transfusion. He went to the Red Cross, no blood supply. He went to the hospital, there is blood, but money down. So his son is dying because in need of blood transfusion. So he prayed and said, Lord, guide me what to do because my son is dying. So he went down to the street. It flashed to his mind. The tricycle were passing and he has a short knife, and then he robbed the driver of the tricycle and got the money, and the money was enough for the blood. He gave the money to the hospital, and the blood was already pouring down to the dying son. And after the recovery of the son, the father said, Lord, thank you for guiding me what to do. Thereafter of the means. And the good example of a person who is a compromiser, a situationalist, is Deng Xiaoping, the premier or chairman of China. He said, listen, I don't care of the color of my cat, whether it is black or white, as long as it catches mice, that is my cat. Whatever is the means, as long as you have the result. Whatever is the means. Whatever is the means, as long as I can reach the goal is the issue and not the means. Huh? To the Pharisees' indifference, Jesus said, my answer to the indifference of the Pharisees is, woe to the Pharisees. Woe unto you! Woe unto you! It appears in the public that you're good, but you're just like a tomb that inside the marble tomb is the dry bones of the skeleton. Woe unto you! Woe unto you! The Pharisees. The Zealots. There's no other solution, fight. Mr. Chairman, para wala naman tayong solusyon dito, sa labas lang tayo. Doon tayo magtapos. Huh? That's the Zealots. Huh? I remember back in Mindanao, a problem arose. Church elder and deacon. It's all about morality. The issue was, the deacon got jealous that his wife is having illicit relationship with a church elder. And so, both parties were asked to sit down in the committee. And problem was deliberated. And this deacon stood up and said, I think there is no solution. Because I believe that my wife has really an illicit relationship with the elder. And the elder said, brother, I'm very sorry. We don't have relationship. And when the elder gave his hand to shake the hand of the deacon grabbed his hand and stabbed to death right in the church. Right in the church. The Zealots. Mr. Chairman, you have been discussing for so long. I think there's no solution here in the committee. Let's go outside and finish the job. The Zealots. But Jesus said, they that take the sword shall perish with the sword. Good news. The good news is, the Securities and Exchange Commission did not renew their corporation papers. So no more Pharisee, no more Sadducee, no more Essenes, no more Zealots, because the Securities and Exchange Commission, SEC, did not renew their license of corporation. But the bad news, I would like to bring this to Northern Luzon. Some survivor members were scattered in different levels of church organization. That is the bad news. That is the bad news. They are in different committees in our institutions. Pharisee, Sadducee, the Zealots, the Sinners, they are in the hospital board. They are in the union executive committee. And they are in the executive committee in Mindanao, not in Luzon, Pastor Diaz. Not in Luzon, Pastor Diaz. Only in Mindanao. Believe me, I'm getting bald, serving in the administration almost whole of my life. And I always encounter this kind of people, the Pharisee, the Sadducee, the Zealotes, and the Essenes. That's the bad news. They're in different committees of our institution. In the midst of us, no exception, even among us workers, there are the compromisers, there are the indifferent, there are the isolationists, and there are the fighters. The fighters. That's the bad news. While the organization per se is no longer existing because the so-called Securities and Exchange Commission did not renew their license, but their members are scattered from Luzon to Mindanao, from the Philippines to America, from America to China, and even unto the whole world. Yes, we have the spirit of the Pharisee, the Sadducee, the Zealot, and the Essenes. They are in the local church. They are in the church leadership. They are in the institution and almost everywhere. Don't you know that according to the writings of Ellen White, that Satan is sending his representative to any of the committees that we have? So every time we open our mouth, ask yourself, am I the representative of this black shadow or not? Huh? I'm pouring you out by 36 years in the ministry. Only 3 years that I was in the district, Pastor Diaz. Most of it sitting down in administration. That's why my age had depreciated me so fast. Leadership, that's an empty and hollow set. You could never be happy there. I felt my happiness when I was in the district. I am the king of the road. If I preach well, all the brethren are touched. And if they trusted me, any project that I introduce, they will accept. But when I am the leadership, no matter how I study all the agenda, there always loophole with the Zealot, loophole with the Pharisee, loophole with the sinners. When you say this is yellow, somebody say, Mr. Chairman, that is not yellow. I think that is yellow-green. Mr. Chairman, you are saying that is black. No, for me it is gray. You know, this is the problem that we have. This kind of people are anywhere. We have the so-called Jumbo Olympics in Mindanao. The young people, they playing there. And you know, sometimes there is physical in the basketball. And one district leader stood up and said, why are you trying to harm my athlete? And the other pastor stood up, why you are also, no. And they said, okay, athletes, get out. Tayo-tayo na lang dalawa dito sa court. Can you imagine that? Believe me, there are zealots still in our midst. Believe me, there are still Pharisees among us. Believe me, there are still isolationists. Believe me, there are still Sadducees in our midst. Yes, we have the purest, the Pharisees, and they are the rightest Adventists. They're the rightest. Adventist. But then you have the compromiser, the liberals. You know how to balance if you're the chairman. How to balance. And you have the revolutionists, the zealots, the hot-tempered in the committee. The tempered. And we have the matampuhin, the isolationist. What can you say? Nothing. Nothing. But why you're not talking? Less talk, less sin. More talks, more sin. Are you angry with me? No. I just don't like to talk with you. I'm not angry, but I don't want to talk with you. And I would like to tell you, some of the wives of the ministers are isinis. Yeah. Honey, no talking. No talking. Are you angry? No response. Most of the wives of the pastors are isinis. But there are few who are zealots, Pastor Flor. A few. You know what? In my lecture, I used to say, Ma'am Miriam, in the lecture, I told them, if we are physically abused by our wives, that's a problem. But if the husband will abuse physically to the wife, they can go right out to the barangay captain, you know, my husband bugs me. But if the husband were being scratched by the long fingers of the wife, were boxed by the wife, the barangay captain said, hey, Adventist, what happened to your black eye? You know, I just bumped in the darkness. Because it is very, very embarrassing that we will tell the world that we are physically abused by our wives. I am appealing to the zealots, Adventist workers. The solution of the gospel ministry, no one can solve by this way of giving a solution. This kind of people and the ranks and files of the Adventist church. And today, we might not be facing seriously about the Sadducees, the Pharisees, the Essenes, and the, zealots. But we have a clear and present problems in our church. That if we will not muster the Master's way, as I look at it, almost every apostasy, the root cause is this one. What is this root cause? The way of salvation. Some apostate movements, if you look into that and try to trace the cause, it will tell you the misunderstanding of the doctrine of salvation is the root of the problem. Why the Wilderness Church became a big movement at the time in Mindanao? Because they said they wanted to be saved. So the way of salvation is very basic that every member of the church must understand. Because if we don't understand how we are saved, tell your people, tell your brethren, that if the church will not understand the way of salvation, there is insecurity. There is anxiety. And they will make their own invention how to be saved. And here are some problems. To the non-Adventist legalism or legalist, they have this penance. What else? Pilgrimage. What else? Indulgence. What else? So you see, is it in Pampanga that every week, Holy Week, there is always real crucifixion? I think that's in Pampanga, right? That's penance. They wanted to be saved. Pilgrimage, indulgence. Okay, but you know what? The Adventists also have a way of kind of legalism. What about that? Let's flee to the mountain. Now it's no longer wilderness. What is disrupting in Mindanao is no longer wilderness, but still in English, country living. Country living. Organic food. I said, could you not plant organic food at the back of your house in Cagayan de Oro? Why should you run away and then isolate yourself just for the purpose of organic food? What is that? isolation. What else? Sabbath non-cooking. I would like to tell you, I'm not against that. But if you don't cook on Sabbath for you to be saved, that is legalism. That is legalism. If you want to isolate yourself to breathe fresh air, good. But if it is for salvation, wrong. Pastor, you know what? Country living, this is in preparation of persecution. Why? If Adventists will group together in the mountain, it's easy for us to be arrested there. We better scatter so that they cannot arrest us in mass. Huh? Okay, what else? Extreme Sabbath attire. It happened. Okay, let me tell you. When the wilderness was already became weak, and it was disbanded by their own, there was a group of members of the wilderness. They said, let us not join separation from the wilderness. Let us make our own. So a group of Adventists got out from the wilderness compound and flee farther and farther and farther. And they call themselves the church, not in the wilderness, but Iglesia sa Kagubatan. Sa Bisaya, Iglesia sa Kalasangan. Can you imagine that? He said, you know what? This is where we should wait for the time of Christ coming. And then if persecution comes, we're already safe. And there was a big, big cave. And all the members subdivided the cave and put up double-deck bed. So that in times of persecution, they will be there. I said, brethren, just killing yourself. Persecution, you'll be hiding in the cave. It's very easy to catch you. That's crazy. And, yes, double-deck bed, subdivided by the members. And they built their church outside, far from the cave. And I would like to tell you, their leader said, there is in the book of Revelation, blessed is he who was his white raiment. So every Sabbath, white clothing, white dress, white shoes, and if you cannot afford shoes, white slippers. So boy, the stores in Bayugan bought big stocks of white slippers, very sellable because there is the church in Kagubatan. White shirt, white socks, man and woman in white attire. And furthermore, that this doctrine that even your underwear should be white. I told him, brother, what kind of angel is that every Sabbath trying to scrutinize what color is your underwear? You know what? Adventists, you know what, can invent many, many things. Why? Because they did not understand the doctrine of salvation. And it is you and me who will master the master's way, that in salvation is not through legalism. This one. Be vegetarian for health reason. But be vegetarian for salvation, that is wrong. We cannot be saved by eating kamote tops. Never. We cannot be saved by eating boiled eggplant. It is on the blood of Jesus Christ. But if you want to be vegetarian, the issue there is good health. Tell your church, it is for good health, not for salvation. Not for salvation. The issue of salvation is life or death. And the warden asked Paul, when there was a miracle that happened, sirs, what shall I do to be saved? And he said, believe in the Lord Jesus Christ, and thou shalt be saved. Paul did not say, okay, you attend to the church 1 year on probation, and then you will look into the receipts of the treasurer, whether you are giving tithes and offerings. And every Sabbath I have to smell you, whether there is no more tobacco that is smelling there, then that's the time that you'll be baptized. Believe in the Lord. Paul expounded of this doctrine. This is how to master's way of salvation. For by grace are ye saved through faith, and that not of yourself. It is the gift of God. Gift of God, hindi yan kinakayuran. It is the gift of God, given by God to us. And he said, not of works, lest any man should boast. Very, very plain, but yet some Adventists twisted the doctrine. Flee to the mountain, isolate themselves, very indifferent, because they wanted to be saved. Here is the mathematical equation. Do you agree with me? You know, in my study from grade 1 to college, arithmetic algebra is my lowest in grade. So I want to help you whether this is right. 0% plus 100% equals 100%. Am I right? Am I right? Okay, yes. So let's go, because I'm right. Romans 3:10, as it is written, there is none righteous, no not one. 0%. We are none. We are nothing. So, let's start with this. Man's unrighteousness equals 0%. You are unrighteous. You are 0%. But Jesus Christ's righteousness is 100%. Therefore, 0% man's unrighteousness plus 100% of Jesus' righteousness equals man's righteousness 100%. Tell your brethren, very simple equation of salvation. You know, it is only we who is making it hard for salvation. That's why I used to say in my sermon in the church, you know, I am so happy that salvation is not decided by committee. It's only decided by the death of Jesus Christ. Because if I were a member of the salvation committee, you will not be saved. No one of you will be saved. Because I am the chairman of the committee of salvation. We are so happy that as far as salvation, committee was not granted. It is only through the death of Jesus Christ. Lastly, Ephesians 12:9, my grace is sufficient for you. If it is sufficient, how much is lacking? Huh? And then, if it is sufficient, how much you can contribute? Can you contribute vegetarianism? Can you contribute non-cooking Sabbath? Nothing! Because the grace of God is sufficient. You know, some Adventists would like to contribute for their own salvation. Tell them, do not contribute because it is sufficient. If you want contribution, contribute for the preaching of the gospel. You know, it's not salvation. So Adventists, come up higher. Come up higher. We cannot come up higher alone, but it should be the hand of Jesus that will grab our hand so that we can reach the standard. To end, I would like to share with you a short poem that was given to me. In the Old English, we pronounce it poem. And then later on, it becomes a poem. And now it is poem. Now I am confused. Which one? Which one? But they said it's now a poem. A poem says, the surprises in heaven. I will summarize, so the whole thing might be lost there. I was so surprised when I get to heaven. Not because of the lights, because I read it in the book of Revelation, that the lights there is tremendously beautiful. I'm not surprised of the light there, but I was surprised of the people in heaven. Because I saw my classmate in elementary who used to steal my baon, and now he is there. I am surprised because I have an old man neighbor who used to curse from the morning to the evening. Maybe that was the grandfather of President Duterte. I don't know. He was a curser, but he was there. I was surprised because the most immoral persons that I have known were there. And not only that, I was surprised why the backbiters are here. So I went to Jesus. Lord, can I address my complaint even I am already in heaven? The Lord said, son, go on. What's your complaint? Lord, my complaint is, why my classmate who stole my baon is there? Why the old man who is a cursing man from morning to evening is there? When some immoral persons are there, and much more that I am surprised and disgusted is that while I was yet far, they were laughing with happiness. They were laughing. And then I became come close to them. When they looked, they saw me, they stopped laughing, and they kept on whispering, Lord, why the backbiters are safe? And Jesus said, you know what? They are not backbiters. They stopped laughing because when they look at you, they were saying, why you are here? Why you are here? Ladies and gentlemen, my dear fellow workers, heaven is full of surprises. Ellen White said, those whom you think will be there, will not be there. And those whom you think will not be there, will be there. It's only in the blood of Jesus Christ that all of us can be saved. This is my prayer, and this is my hope. May God bless you, everyone.